What's the deal? It's your host with the most, your man Vic the Visionary, aka Vic with a Vision. Now today I'm basically bringing you guys my very first podcast series, which is no more than just an intro to my channel. Now my podcast series is dedicated to men worldwide, and not just any specific set of men, but those who are not considered in the top 10 to 15%. So you know, the normal 9-to-5ers, the first fired, last hired, the men who are abandoned by society due to lack of resources and how to find them. And the list goes on and on. But before I get started with everything, let me first say this to you brothers. You are not alone. Again, men, you are not alone. And this goes for all fields: career, relationships, economics, your love life, even your mental health, etc. But I'm going to break this video down in about 3 different sections. So buckle up. Let's get ready for the ride. Yeah. Now, first section, we're going to talk about the manosphere. Now, I don't really know if you guys have been hearing on YouTube and other different blogging sites about the whole red pill, blue pill talk, but this terminology stems directly from the movie The Matrix. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, right? So let me give you a quick breakdown. We got Keanu Reeves as the main character, aka Neo. Now his sensei / master name is Morpheus. He gave him 2 different options. He said you could take the blue pill, which is absolute ignorance, living in a blissful state of unawareness. As for the red pill was like the awakening to Neo's psyche, of his consciousness, in which he was able to see past the futility of the world for really what it was, or the Matrix rather. So this is also where sayings like this come into play. With great power comes great responsibility. And with this new awareness, it's a natural duty to want to fix the world that you live in. After all, men did create this world, so it's our duties and jobs to see it through until the Lord returns. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the definition of manosphere. Here we are. Okay, manosphere. It's a collection of websites, blogs, and online forums promoting masculinity, strong oppositions to feminism and misogyny. Communities within the manosphere include men's rights activists, incels, men going their own way, pickup artists, not really me at all, and fathers' right groups, which I can rock with that. I grew up with my father, you know what I mean? So I totally understand that. And with that being said, this is not to be associated with any sort of hate groups or harassment towards feminism, nor does it support misogynist views. And it strictly revolves around men's growth and self-awareness in a day and age when not just men, but everyone is lost and losing their way. So in other words, this is basically a comfortable space where men could talk about our issues and not feel judged. So as men, we need to understand all of our tools that are at our disposal. And every single last one of our tools are mental, not physical. Everything starts off in the mind, fellas. It's mind over matter. Example, economics. Economics even start off in the mind. Let's say if you had $1 and you didn't know how to properly spend that $1, you spent it on candy or something. That's ignorance when you could have been saving it. That didn't mean nothing. Same exact thing if you were to have $1 million. If you were to have $1 million, but don't know how to properly invest and spend it, that 1 million didn't mean shit. So with that being said, we see millionaires file for bankruptcy and go broke all the time. We even see the common man do the same exact thing. So the main tools at our possessions that we use to help elevate our mind to a higher cause is awareness and purpose. So both tools are very vital to every single man living, but awareness is everything. And not just being aware that you're a man, but being aware of your every single circumstance and situation that you're in. But for the most part, whenever you're involved in, you must know your role, you must know your strengths, you also must know your weaknesses so you can take a full advantage of this tool known as awareness. Now take in consideration your place of employment. Let's say you haven't been performing that well lately. Let's say you've been tardy a few times. Or something that I hear a lot more than often, I don't get along with my colleagues. Now it's a must that you be proactive and try to fix these issues, right? Even if it's something like taking your work home with you and studying your company, do it. Or finding certain formulas to help improve your work ethic, do it. Or it could be something like, if you're tardy, get up a little bit earlier, and then leave 15 to 20 minutes ahead of the time that you usually do. Do it. So what does that mean though? That means you must be aware of what caused you to be late. It could be late night movies, Netflix and chilling. It could be you late night gaming. It could be you going out on dates. These are certain things that you need to recognize and have awareness towards so you can eliminate the flaws and create better boundaries for yourself. And I mean, sheesh, let's say we're basing this on your colleagues you don't get along with. You see, awareness is key, especially when it comes down to dealing with others. You get to sit back and view their personality traits. You get to see their likes and dislikes. And this is how you deal with people according to wisdom, especially pertaining to the dating field. And that's a little bit different, man. But let me tell you guys, when it comes down to dating, please be aware of everything, of your every move, man, because women are watching, especially when they say they're not. So basically what I'm saying is, man, be totally conscious of your actions, protect your reputation at all costs like it's the last thing on earth, and stay solid mentally where you don't fall victim if a woman do decide to leave you, because your awareness wouldn't let you be fooled. Now this brings us to our second tool, purpose, which is the most amazing and underrated tool to most men. They overlook it because they feel our day-to-day lives have purpose enough. We have friends, family, work, relationships, money, and the list goes on. But I'll be the first to say, my friend, this is not purpose. This is literally responsibilities, bonds, and possessions. None really needs a strong sense of purpose to maintain. I mean, money, yeah, I guess, but if you want to pay your bills, you're going to go to work and you're going to make your money regardless, right? So purpose for a man is also known as ambition. And ambition assists us in achieving our goals. I would say get a notebook. Get a notebook, man. I got a notebook. It's a composition. This is a notebook. I call it my goal book. Now, inside of my goal book, I have short-term goals, which is for like a week, it's for like 7 days. I have midterm goals, which is from 1 to 2 years. I also have long-term goals, which is from 3 to 5 years. And the reason being why I'm mentioning this is because every day, once you devote yourself towards a specific purpose, as a man, we should always have a purpose, man. There should be no time where we don't have one. No matter where you are, if you're a CEO of a business, if you're a cashier at McDonald's, your life should constantly focus on evolving, no matter where you are. And it's never too late. Wake up every day with a purpose. It's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. Now we got the bonus tips. Yeah. Now let me start off saying these tips are ways to strengthen the tools that we've been talking about today. Like, one is meditation. Let's not make it more complicated than what it is, guys. Meditation is no more than taking the time out to just breathe. Focus in on breathing. Breathe deep breaths in and then deep breaths out. You know what I mean? Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. But that also helps with a lot of different emotional anxieties. It helps with stress. It also helps with depression. Meditation, closing your eyes and focusing in on the most vital thing that our lungs, our body need to constantly preserve life, which is breath. We have to draw breath. So focus in on that. And there's a lot of people, if you actually listen to them breathe, man, you could hear people breathe. It's ridiculous. So that shows that we all need a little bit of meditation to focus in and, help our lungs and our diaphragm be able to take in better breaths. Not only that, man, but allow yourself to feel your emotions. A lot of us men, we actually do not allow ourselves to feel the emotions that we felt. Some of us are walking around with baggage, from years ago, and we never took the time out to sit down and be like, you know what? This is what I did. This is what they did. This is how I feel. A lot of us as men, we don't talk about our problems. So you will see a lot of men drink themselves under the table, smoke themselves up in the clouds, and just for them to come to be sober, maybe like a couple hours later, to see their problems are still there, which it entices them and encourages them to do the same exact bad habits. So that causes alcoholics, that causes people to become drug addicts, things of that sort, because they feel that their depression, their anxiety, their stress is too much. And that's not the case. Which also leads to another thing that you could do to help strengthen your tools, which is talking to your friends, talking to your sincere friends, and not just anyone, man, because everyone seems sincere nowadays. You got to talk to people who actually care about you. And I mean, like male friends. As a man, we need to have men to men talks. We can't run around just talking to females about men problems because they won't understand, and vice versa for us listening to female problems. They need their sisterhood like we need our brotherhood. So talk to sincere male friends who are like brothers to you. And heck, you may not have those that you could call on immediately because we all got problems. We all have a life to live, things of that sort. So talk to some elders in your family, men that you trust, like father figures. So those are some of the things that I definitely would say that will help a whole lot, along with things like exercise. Fellas, we have testosterone for a reason, man. Exercising brings us energy. It helps us complete our day-to-day missions and goals and tasks that we set in front of ourselves. So don't forget about that, man. You got to be physical, man. We're warriors, man. We're built like this for a reason. And also, I also want to tell you guys this. By the way, none of the stuff that I'm saying is really easy. It's not, man. Especially if you never really took the time out to have self-care. Never took the time out to ask yourself how you're doing. It's not easy, fellas. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a garden doesn't grow overnight. You know what I mean? So these are actual pains that we got to go through. Have you guys ever heard of the term growing pains? Exactly, man. These are growing pains. Nothing grows and evolves when it's comfortable. A plant doesn't grow in a small pot. You know what I mean? Like it does, but it starts getting uncomfortable. So you have to take that little plant out and put it in a bigger pot so it can fully bloom. So this right here leads to one of my favorite quotes. Pain will leave once it's done teaching you. Bruce Lee. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, checking out a little bit of my first podcast episode. And I hope y'all have a great one, all right? Catch you next time. Yeah.